Neopets isn't exactly known for keeping up with the times. Fancy things like HTML5 and remembering to make links to important site features have seemingly posed a challenge to the Neopets team over the years. I mean, it's not all bad. Some features are kept up with, some games are playable, but when exploring the neglected corners of the site, we find the ruins of a lost civilization, the early internet. And the best place on Neopets to step right back into the year 2000 are the default pet pages. Just look at these. Look at him go. On these flashy pages, though, is a lot of text. Text I've never read. What could these pages possibly be talking about? And what could that tell us about early Neopets, or even the early internet overall? Let's find out together. On Neopets, you can create your own custom web pages using a URL designated to each of your pets, referred to as a pet page. However, when you first create a pet, this page isn't left blank. Each species has its own default web page, crafted with a surprising amount of care for something that is meant to be written over, and they've been left untouched since their creation. At least, so it seems. We'll get to this. Alright. I'm gonna go over a few pet pages, but I'm not gonna read every single one out to you, because there are 55 of them, and they can get repetitive. They all have their own chaotic flair, don't get me wrong, and it's worth looking at them all. But I'll tell you the text does tend to follow a similar pattern. This one shows it best. Hi, my name is Name the Chia. I am so many hours old. Chias are the cutest pets in Neopia, or at least I think so. As you may have guessed, I love making new friends and playing games. My best friend is Addie the Chia, who I love to play Guess the Card with. I love having fun with my friends. Every summer we go to a new place to have a picnic. Last year we went to Mystery Island. This is a photo of me and my friends at the beach. We built a massive sand chia. It is a little known fact that chias, like myself, love to bounce. For my birthday, my owner bought me a fantastic trampoline. I invited all the chias down my road over to our Neo home and we had a great party. This is a photo from that day. Anyway, this is my webpage. I am Name. If you want to be my friend or Neo message my owner, feel free. My owner loves to get Neo mails. So, these pages almost always are written from the first-person perspective of the individual pet, share facts about themselves, share traits of their species, mention a character, mention a land or exploring, mention a game or activity, include a call to action to neomail the owner, and they also almost always include the stats of the pet, which the Chia page is weirdly missing. The weirdest part to me, though, is that so many of them also talk about things the owner, being you, the user, has said or done with the pet, and I don't appreciate the forced history that apparently I threatened my pet Grundo with Dr. Sloth returning, mutating, and enslaving them if they misbehave. Look at him, he's just a baby. He doesn't deserve that. It's so absurd. Anyway, this next page I'm going to show you does tease something important, but I also just need you to witness it and understand the quality of these pages, okay? This is my homepage. My owner is Owner. I am so many hours old. My current horn level is 110. My cow gruff is 55. My herd flow is 376. I have cow smarts of 273. My defense is 175 with a maximum hit point of 201 and a current hit point level of 113. I love going to school in the morning because all my friends walk to school together. But the funniest thing is still practicing and sparring with my cow friends after school. My fencing master, Kata the Chip, says I have promise, and that if I work hard, I may one day go to the Neolympics. Mouth, smiling, eyes, twinkling, horns, used in the art of fencing. Ears perk up with the laughter of children. Tail wags away any annoying buzzes. Belly jiggles when laughing. It's just so bizarre and impressively useless. What is cow gruff? What stat is that supposed to correspond to? And fencing? There's no fencing in Neopets. Neolympics? Doesn't exist. The character Kata the Chip? Not a real guy. So, what was the point? But this page did tease one feature that did actually exist. Or, at least, maybe. At least it's something that I wouldn't have known about had I not gotten curious and read through all these pages. Let's look at a couple more. I want to see if you can figure it out on your own. Well, I guess I ought to tell you a little bit about me. I am an Aisha, and as you should already know, all Aishas are incredibly smart. My owner makes me read lots of books, and I'm getting really intelligent. Soon I will be the brightest in my class. If I get straight A's, I will be treated to a fairy paintbrush, and then I can have beautiful wings like this Aisha. This is a picture of the Fontaine sisters, possibly two of the most beautiful Aishas in Neopia. They work at the Golden Doubloon on Croc Island, and are always really nice to me. This is my school photo. It is really yucky, but for some stupid reason, my owner thinks it's great and loves to show it to everyone. How embarrassing! When I am old enough to go adventuring on my own, I want to go and see the alien Aishas, Shrieglas 6, Orlhawks 7, and Gargon 4. Whizzing around in a spaceship looks so much fun, much better than boring old walking. Hi, my name is Name, and I like playing in the mud. Now I am starting to make friends, and I am taking lessons at Neopia Village School soon, which should be very exciting. Wanna play in the mud with me? You've probably picked up on it by now, but in case you haven't, this last one will hammer it in. Hi, my name is Name. I'm a Tuscanini. If you have no idea what that means, then you need to go see Neopets. Neopets is a great site where you adopt your own little critter and take care of it. Well, like I started to say, my name is Name and I am a Tuscanini. I love to make friends and relax on a hot rock when it's a sunny day. You should try it sometime. Very soothing. Anyways, I go to a big school named Neopia New School. I have lots of friends there. This is my school photo. I think it came out awful. Oh well, it was free, so what can you do? It leaves a path of destruction behind it. What is it? A chart on the statistics of the Tuscanini population? No, it is much more frightening. A report card! Okay, so it's not that bad, but still, you get the idea? I really like all my classes except for science. They wanted us to cut open frogs, yuck, no way. Let's face it, I've got flippers, not legs. Gym just isn't as exciting for me like it is for the rest of the Neopets. If you're like me, a Neopets user that joined after the year 2000, you're probably going through the same thought process I did. School? Neopets don't go to school. Why do so many of these pages mention report cards? You're telling me that the Polaroids on every single pet page are school photos? What is going on? This is the type of lost nugget I was looking for. Something erased from collective memory and leaving only the default pet page text as its ghost. So, what is Neopia New School? Searching Jellyneo doesn't yield anything, and the editorial archive's earliest mention of a school, other than the training schools, is them saying, we might add a Neo school in the future. Though this does only date back to 2001. So, let's keep researching. Interesting. This is the original Aisha design, which was updated in October 2000, so we know the school existed, or at least was written about, before fall 2000. And if we Google Neopia Village School, we find this. A report card. Bingo! Looking up report card on the image database gives us this. A report card for Thyasa, a pet owned by one of the Neopets creators, Donna. I backtracked and looked at Thyasa's page, just in case, and it's reset to default. Good to know that Donna lets Thyasa bounce, though. I bet she would even threaten a Grundo. SMH. And then some report cards from January 2000 and October 1999. October 1999. October 1999? Neopets' official launch date was November 15, 1999. I am so much more confused now than when I started. So, was all this text for these pet pages written right when Neopets launched? Even before then? Has this text remained the same since November or even October 1999 and just the visuals updated? What if these report cards came with your pet on its pet page alongside the school photo? I'm spiraling. There are so many questions, but of course, not a lot of ways to get answers. Neopets didn't start archiving its news until January of 2000, so the first 2 months of Neopets' existence is largely lost to time and shrouded in rumor. And if there was going to be any information about these schools, it probably would have been in those first 2 months, because there is nothing about schools in any of the news archive until the non-existent Neo schools of 2003 and 2004. By the way, thank you so much to the mysterious unnamed Neopians that created the site Defaultpetpages.fun. All the pet pages you're seeing in this video are from there, and they also did some awesome research creating a timeline of the first 2 years of pet pages mentioned in the news archives. I couldn't find any way to contact or credit y'all, but whoever you are, thank you. It has been so helpful to my research and the making of this video. From the help of their timeline, what we can tell from the archive is that they were adding features to pet pages in January 2000. So they must have been an original, or prehistoric, site feature, present for at least some of the 19 pets that existed in 1999. More pages were launched in 2000, and some were updated in 2001, but after that, the trail goes cold. Nothing in the 2002 news archive mentions pet pages, and the only other source of information about these prehistoric pages comes from archived images. There are some truly ancient art and assets on the image database fan site that give us a glimpse at these older pages. But that's all we get. Maybe I'm okay with that. R.I.P. Kiko Funky Dance though, what a guy. Knowing all this, though, doesn't give us much. All of the evidence right now is visual, and old art with approximated dates doesn't tell us anything about if the content of the text of the pet pages has changed. And even then, not all the pages got updated art. The Tuscanany page, with all that text about the school, uses the very first iteration of its species art on its page. If they didn't bother to update the art, and all the text is about this school that only seems to exist in this text, this whole page is probably from 1999, right? But also, not all the text on all the pet pages could be carried over from 1999, because the Aisha page, the same page talking about the school picture and the report cards, mentions Croc Island, which didn't exist until 2001. But in 2001, there was no school, and they were saying they weren't working on one. So why keep the text about it, whatever it even was, if it even existed at all? It seems to me that when the Aisha page was updated, it was updated in pieces. As always, some things had the investment to redo, and some things were left behind. I can't say for certain whether they left the text about schools in there on purpose because there was this complex, thriving school system for 6 weeks in 1999 that just somehow was never documented anywhere else and has been otherwise completely lost to time, but I doubt it. Probably when writing the initial text for the pet pages back in 1999, they just had to put something. Maybe for the few days that these couple of prehistoric pages were written, the idea was for Neopets to be in school, but nothing more came of it after that. My bet is that the Tuscanany is going to Neopia New School the same way the cow is going to the Neolympics. It just isn't real. And yet, it lives on. It's the same as the rest of Neopets. They renovate the room, but don't dust the corners. But that's okay. That's what we want, or at least what I want. Its history and mystery is what makes Neopets special. Neopets is a tangled mess of new and old, nostalgic and broken and largely useless, but so charmingly bizarre it can't be let go of. A legacy of the Neopians, internet users, and internet culture left for us to witness. In 2020, Jumpstart, the old owners of Neopets, announced that they were planning to update the pet pages. This clearly hasn't happened yet, but I still don't know what cow gruff is, but you can pry it from my cold gamer hands before you erase our past. As for the report cards, my hunch is that they were never used at all. The file names are all like template_images/report_card1, so it doesn't seem like they were ever implemented as part of a site feature. I suppose it's possible that they were on the original pet pages or something like that, but I don't think so. But ultimately, we did end up finding a mystery in the default pet pages. As far as I can tell, there is not a single mention anywhere on the internet of the Neopia New School or the Neopia Village School outside of these pet pages and those report cards, and now this video. So I hope you enjoy being one of the first few people to be wondering, what the fuck was that about? Before we go, I've got a piece of bonus lore I found on a page. The Drake page says, there are just the cutest pets running around all over the place. I mean, just look at these guys. And they're pretty useful in the Battle Dome as well. What? You can't bring pets into the Battle Dome. But it turns out that for a few months in 2001, pets would jump in and assist you in the Battle Dome. That's neat. We've learned what's hidden in these pages, but that's just scratching the surface of the 25-year-long mystery that is Neopets. Up next, how many avatars are actually available in 2025? After that, we're deep diving into the site's secrets, the stories, the history, down to the nitty-gritty of the Neopian economy. Got something you've always wondered about? Drop it in the comments. I'm always excited to start a new deep dive. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to support the cause of Neopian archaeology. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Cybunny Online, signing off for now.